What's up, everybody? It is the Oracle of Elohim. I hope everyone is having a beautiful Saturday. What is it, the 14th of June, 2025? My time currently is 3:04 p.m. You know, because my situation is so perplexed, the information that I'm waiting for, it had me think of, I really don't know the dynamic of that equipment where you see on police alerts where they do the body agement, where they say, oh, if this person were alive, this is the depiction of what we think they would look like. Now, mind you, there's a finger on that computer using their thoughts about a thing. That's all I'm going to say on that, because I don't really know how that particularly works. If you don't, you could go by picture image. It's all man thoughts, man fingers working the buttons. I'm just saying. So that brings me to my next thing. Since so many of these family members that I was raised up with want to try to conceal my identity, and then you have some scientists have been able to clone animals, and you're trying to clone people. I'm not sure if you successfully completed that task. However, there is a task that you have completed. You know how to do plastic surgery. You know how to change paperwork. You know how to somehow mess up DNA coding, genetic coding when it comes to a pregnancy by putting drops of something or another in something and then impregnating a womb of a woman, her egg. Because at the end of the day, the woman still has to bring forth the child. You haven't been able to have a man have a baby, although some of you are trying to. That for the life of me does not make any sense. I know evolution is great, but now when that terminology say stay in your own lane, okay, so that part. If you don't want a monthly and can't even have a monthly, why in the world are you trying to impregnate a man? Or maybe that was just an illusion of the rapper singer Nas. I don't know. But anyway, because I did see that picture where he was with his stomach protruded like he was pregnant. That's I don't know. A picture says a lot of words, or is a picture of 1,000 words, right? I'm just saying. Now, that also makes me think about how in the world did the NAACP allow that young lady to be the director who said she was black. When, what's wrong with y'all? Was that also spell word? Is it that powerful that all of y'all was under spell? Is she a witch? Because she had, somebody had y'all under spell, because when I seen her, I was like, that lady do not look Afro-American. She don't look mixed. I mean, which also brings me to some other children, since I could be an illegitimate child of some celebrity who had a nefarious actual activities going on or not. I don't know. But when you don't know things, you just tend to observe some things, like Michael Jackson is not here to speak for himself, and he supposedly married somebody, or maybe not, and she supposedly had some of his children. I don't know. Before Michael Jackson took whatever type of drug he took to make himself lighter, which we know that is a thing. There is some type of drug that you can make yourself lighter, because some Africans who don't like themselves have done it and are doing it. Or some people who are of darker skin, who don't like their darker skin, have done it or are doing it. But for the life of me, I don't believe that would change your DNA if you procreate and have a child. I don't believe, but it could, because you are doing something to your genetic system. I don't know. I just look at certain people, children, especially people who have died where their children were very young, and their parent have passed away, and they could have been in the limelight. Just like, kind of like Prince. I don't guess he had any children, but hell, I don't know. Where his family had to bicker over his legacy. But anyway, what I do know is I don't think you successfully clone people. What I think you do is you have people that have plastic surgery. You, like you're doing me, trying to ostracize me, delete my existence by saying I was incompetent, or I am incompetent, because I also look at the story of Henrietta Lacks' children, where it says Elsie Lacks, which if you look it up, or I looked it up on my phone, she has a couple of different names, but they all saying that she's deceased. But when you look at the picture that they show, the child looks perfectly normal, but yet you put her in some type of insane asylum. And that had to be after Henrietta Lacks passed away. Because, I did read that the children were dispersed to different family members who seemed a little effed up. So the children, after the tragedy of the mother, and then back to Elsie, the father, who came back and slept with his wife Henrietta and impregnated her with Elsie, it was saying that he had syphilis. Now, I'm not sure of the date at the present time of this video of the Tuskegee Airmen report. unless he was one of those guys that tragically was infected and then brought home syphilis to his partner, which then in turn gave her the HPV that she ended up succumbing to. And then the children that existed from this duo somehow had a tragic story of their upbringing because the real parents are no longer here. But yet, for a while there, Henrietta Lacks was still here in the spirit, and some of her precious body parts were too, and being used to make money for somebody else until it was discovered by someone who told the family about it. So, when I look at Minnie Riperton's children, pictures that they show when they were young, and then I see them as they have aged, unless y'all had plastic surgery, something is not quite right. That's just my observation, I'm just saying. Because, when she passed away, her children were very young. And then the husband went on to marry, I believe, some Asian woman. Do you still exist? Anyway, because like I said, in my situation, it's like a melting pot. I have Asians, Caucasians, Africans, the Hispanic population, of course, the Afro-American or black people who are harassing me, but yet you're trying to cover up who I am. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe possibly Aretha Franklin could have had a child too, possibly by her father. And if she did, where is that child? Who is that child? Is that child able to reap some of the harvest that Aretha Franklin possibly, after she passed, should have? See what I'm saying? So much of you older folks' foolishness, or the want to try to deceive by not telling the truth, or trying to be deceptive by hiding the truth, but yet at the end of the day, the truth still comes out. I'm just saying, where are all these children like the model Danielle Luna? Where's her child after her husband and his family tried to come up against her and tried to, label her as crazy? And then she just, took herself away from her and her child. And that whacked out husband who betrayed her to a family. And that goes with saying, you have to be careful who you procreate with. Samson and Delilah. Samson's family told him that woman is not a part of your tribe. In the book of Numbers, God say people who are not a part of your tribe will not inherit the land, the properties. So that lets me know that certain people or, yeah, certain people should not be procreating together. Point blank. It clearly says that. And I know we have fusses about ethnicities. But when the Most High was saying that tribe is not my people, is that a certain ethnicity? Is that a certain group he's talking about? I mean, y'all explain it to me. Or let's reason together about this. Like I say, I didn't create myself. No, I didn't. Mm-mm. But someone has my information. They have my assets tied up. And for someone to say that I am incompetent, can we prove that? Or have we disproved that? If we have, then the person that said that, who were they? And then if someone did say that, I'm over here. You put me on the FBI watch list, Jocelyn, Randy, Sandra, Kenny, John, and you FBI agents who did your job. That is looking into my life, spying into my life, but yet you find nothing. So what have you told the people that hired you, that are the people that lied to you about me? What have you found? What is incriminating about me? If there is anything, I'm over here. As a matter of fact, you know where I am because you follow and track me, along with the Stockton family, frenemies, and their associates, and those politicians, senators, judges, lawyers, doctors, who have immeasurably messed up their life by lying. And then that one or the people who clearly see that I'm not incompetent, I'm not deceased, I'm not going around spreading a STD that's incurable. And I have complained to local government, beginning with my local police department, and then reaching out to the other agencies, including CDC. Now, I don't know who works at CDC who told me to go, but go back to your local health department. Well, CDC, if the person that I complained to you about is spreading himself around city, states, and countries, that's something global, and that's something that you should have paid attention to. And then the people that he has infected, they're also sleeping with others. And so that makes it a global pandemic. And that's how you need to look at it, because it is a disease that takes people out. But then again, of course, you all also, have said on national TV that there's just too many people here. And again, some of the old groups, like, the Black Panthers, the KKK, but the Black Panthers were not a group like the KKK. But the KKK can just sit idle. They could, maybe throw a bone out there as a saboteur, and then some of the melanated or the fools of society pick up the bone and start killing their own community out, like this person I'm talking about, who is going around spreading an incurable STD. It makes no sense to me. Almost like the Tuskegee experiment, knowingly giving somebody syphilis, and then having them go home to their partner, where they could have been a very loving family, and they're procreating, and then their child may be coming out blind, or like you tried to say, Henrietta Lack's daughter had disturbia emotions or behaviors behind a father who brought syphilis home. So again, I don't know much about that. I'm not sure if he was in the era of the Tuskegee Airmen experiment, and that's how he got this disease. I don't know. But I do know that the CDC should have paid attention to my complaint when I made the complaint about John. I'm sorry. I see some people sitting by my car, and I have my windows down because I'm trying to get some air, right? And I did have my back turned, so I have to make sure no one is putting anything in my window. So I just roll it up because I'm looking at my phone, right? But anyway, all I'm saying is people who impersonate another, that's a sickness. That's diabolical. It's intentional. It harms. It murders. It steals the life from another, and yet it is being allowed. Just like that Bathory, Emily Bathory. How you gonna go get some maids or servants and then play a game of, let me see how I can red rum? Because it's just a game to me. Their life means nothing to me. Is that something that I am facing now because I'm not getting the help of the government agencies that know it is a situation that has been going on since I was born, possibly before I was born. And this situation is still going on today, where people want to live off something that belongs to me, like one, my truth. this is, I don't know, and I know a lot of us come on our YouTube channels or TikTok channels or even the news, and they have said, I mean, some things our government do are questionable. Well, I would have to say yes, because you have the equipment, the infrastructure to have already solved this problem. And what leads me to believe, because you haven't, someone has made deals, taken bribes, have implemented your own liberty. And so now that I speak up, I speak out, you still have not brought me my justice yet. And someone is trying to live my truth while I'm waiting on you to bring me my truth. And I know I've heard people say, why are you waiting? Tell me, what is it that I could do besides pray and trust that the Creator sees this situation that is very hideous, one-sided, one person against many who know the truth, who have my truth, and has not brought me my truth yet. So again, I say, that leads me to believe that it's not only the ones that raised me, their associates, it is somebody within the government infrastructure, or it is somebody's, which in the government sector, and a law official or people who affect or make rulings on a law being implemented or in place to govern people. And yet, these same ones who make laws have turned, as if you don't see me, as you and your constituents who have, again, implemented and messed up your life by trying to harm another's life. And I still say, there's somebody behind the scenes that is looking in. They call it a crystal ball. I call it a sick part of AI being led or executed by a sick part of our society, of individuals who want to control other individuals. Because things that are brought up from old, like the Epstein, or just a situation that raises a big hoopla within the media, it is done as a distraction. unless the Most High reveal what else is coming due to the sick, polluted of heart and mind person who is able to see like Yahuwah Elohim almost. We're going to say almost because they're not the creator. But they have implemented some things where they try to act like the creator. I want to say there is somebody who looks in everybody's home. I believe that's a job of a secret society group. Because there is no way that a woman who is raped, how come all of a sudden, 30 years later, now you're ready to pounce on that person? And then I might add that there's also some mind manipulation through spell work, because it is a real thing. So maybe someone say, okay, we're going to put her in sleeper cell mode until this time of this appointed year. Because there's, like a show called The God Code. There's some scrolls. And I believe the biggest church religion and the most strongest and powerful one is the Catholic Church. Is that the Roman Empire, the Vatican? Those Dead Sea Scrolls, those hidden documentations. You are the most strongest, in my opinion, church group. And I know the government say they are separate, but I say that is a lie. That is not separate. Some churches are used just like some businesses are used for human trafficking, sexual exploitation, child molestation, money laundering. And yet when the government say we're separated, that is because you don't want to do the right thing because you know what's going on within the walls of a church, a building. Because again, I say, some women may suppress something. You may. The trauma behind it, yes. But in my opinion, like Bill Cosby, successful, been successful. And all of a sudden, on a whim, you just now wake up and say, okay, I'm going to come after him about what he did to me. There's something else going on. Just like in my case. I know people have not forgotten that wrong is wrong, right is right. I know you have not forgotten which way is up and which way is down. I know you have not forgotten that if someone is being stopped and could potentially be harmed and hurt, like Fasashi, may he rest in peace. Yeah, because I don't know. He could have something to do with me too. I don't know. Because these people with money, they do some sneaky, freaky stuff that until it comes out, you be like, what? Right. Because, with the Epstein and Diddy, a lot of names are coming out, a lot of associations that you're like, what? But yet, they ain't picked up yet. And yet, nobody don't overstand or want to do the right thing. Let's continue to let the wrong rule. Zechariah 14. Let the word of the Most High come alive, that the Creator will rule the earth, and He will bless whom He will, and protect whom the Creator wills to. I don't understand how. I mean, I'll say this. Until the Most High woke me up about my family, they were winning with the spell work. But now that I know who they are, and I've heard many say, and I now know and do, ask the Most High, the ancestors, to reveal who are my enemies, who is coming up against me. Do I have sage? Yes. Do I have Palo Santo? Yes. But most of all, I need and want the Most High, the Creator of us all, to be on my side. And you might say, well, hell, you're still homeless. Well, that could be the scripture of, I don't know what book it's in, but the separation from the wheat from the tare. As you continue to read on, it states that the Most High wanted to gather everything together to see what was what. So then when He does that, He will separate the wheat from the tare. So whosoever that the Most High has placed in my corner that may be behind the scenes, maybe it's not quite time, that everything is not fully developed. But then again, with AI and its advancement, it could be that. I just know that God gives each one of us gifts, and some of you have used your gifts to hurt another person that's innocent, that doesn't deserve your abuse, and you wanted to do this because you wanted to steal. You don't want to work. You don't want to get it by laboring, because the pains and labor of a woman pushing out a baby is not the only laboring that the Creator said that man will do. Right? So you chose to use spell work to cause people demise. Like if they know you have some riches, or you have something in store for you, or you have talents and they want to suck you dry of that, or they just want to get rid of you altogether because of your stuff. They choose to do black magic so that they can take over your life after you are gone. So we have to be careful who we invite in our space. And I will ask those people who are ashamed of what happened to them, stop being ashamed when, if you love somebody or don't, that's probably the latter. In my case, it was the latter, so they don't want me to know the truth, because the truth will set a person free. The other humans don't want me to know the truth. If there's some shady business going on in families, tell the child what's going on. Because you have grimy, slimy, bummy, scummy people like where I was raised in, who decided she is not going to be anything in my book. I'm going to ensure of that. I'm going to cast spells, curses over her life, and she's not going to know a thing until the Most High woke me up, of course. And I thank God for my secret helpers. But I am truly asking for the Most High to wake up the people who can move the mountain, so to speak, the ones that's in the office of judicial government, who see their constituent is foul and need to be removed. There's a net flying around me. I rebuke you, you monitoring spirit. And may the Holy Spirit bind you and cast you away from me. Right? You see that your person or neighbor, co-worker is doing some foul stuff. But if you come into the knowledge of something and you don't do anything about it, that means you're also a participant. Yeah, that means you participate in it because you know about it. The victim don't know about it. The victims who succumb to your rule and reign in government, you also are helping to bring to an untimely demise, or bring to lack, or cause societal issues in our economy and infrastructure of a community or a particular ethnicity group or class of people. So whether you put your hands in the pot and you hang out with them, it does not matter if you know that they are doing it and you do nothing, that means you also are participating. Mm-hmm. Hello, my friends. How are you? Hopefully, they're my friends. Maybe somebody around getting mad because I'm speaking. I don't know. But like I told you before, you have placed me against a wall. Um, if we look at history, when people were enslaved, you put muzzles over their face where they couldn't speak. You're shadow banding my channel, but yet you hear my message and you don't like it. You're plotting and planning every day to try to harm me in some type of way. And I know this. You know this. So, I think about what's the person in Titusville, Florida, um, Harriet, where their bed got blown up and they're like a pillar in the community. They died because someone didn't like their stance of standing up for self and their community. Harriet Moore, is it? Or something like that. See, so it doesn't matter if you're silent or you speak out. Somebody needs to hear that. If they want to take your life and the Most High allows them to do so, they're going to do it anyway. So I cannot walk in fear of what I know that you can do. I just have to keep speaking, right? Nor do I want to be a legacy. But if that should happen, hopefully somebody will get it. And if you do take me out of here, I pray that the Most High wipes you out shortly thereafter. If not before me, because you are a detriment to society, especially you in power, who want to try to wipe me out, or who has the money, the resources to fly in the sky, clone my phone, monitor my social security number, and then pay little peons that you have entrapped in this economy of poor infrastructure where they don't have more than enough. So when you come to them and say, I'll give you this to do this to her, you have put them in a pickle. I get it, but I don't get it. Because if somebody could step to you and ask you to do something to somebody else that's not favorable, then when you get out of hand, and you might or you might not, but what you do need to recognize is they will always have you on their radar, because there was an exchange of energy, and you could implement them if something gets blown out of proportion like it is, I believe, now. So, like I said, I have contacted several law enforcement agencies, and still to this day, not a human being from your agency has come to me to either express you don't have a case, there's nothing to investigate, or we're coming to arrest you for falsely filing something. But it would not be false because I know that I was employed. I know that I was employed once I separated myself from a family in Georgia where I had to leave that position because threats for my livelihood. And then ever since, I have not been able to get any assistance from any state because you have made it very difficult. So that is attempted murder on my life. And please do not tell me, Attorney General, former or present, that you do not know about this situation. Governor DeSantis, the same thing with you. The state from which, or the town, city from which I am from, the state's attorney's office there, don't tell me you don't know either. The senators and representatives who represent that circuit, don't tell me you don't know either what's going on. The job that I had for 15 and a half years that required on random occasions for me to retake my picture, my identification, redo my fingerprints as if my fingerprints change. I guess that goes back, Jocelyn Idris Scott, to where possibly you are trying to live my life, taking half of my Florida retirement check from me. Because if 20 years you are vested and I work 15 and a half, I believe I should be getting a little bit more than less than $500 a month. But somebody within the infrastructure of that county, the financier, who is it, comp controller, the financer, I forget your name right now, but anyway, somebody had been messing with my comp time when I was working, and when I went to apply for early retirement, somebody messed with that as well. And when you have a whole entity not telling you the truth about rules, policies, and what you are due for, not to mention John Henry Williams, when you stole my briefcase with documentations from that job, that when my son went missing, and I know that I had certain things in place if there was a tragedy that struck. And this particular job said that I did not have that in place. But then Jocelyn, that day you came around the desk saying, oh, I went to the bank today and somebody on a motorcycle before me. That struck a nerve. Didn't take their receipt through the drive-thru. And I wish this was in my account, but it possibly was your account. Maybe that day you went to get paid to try to become my handler. Because you were a raw bitch on that job. Yes, you were. And you're probably still trying to be in my energy now. Because you worked with my family. Because Sandra, one day when I was at her house, oh, are you talking about the heavyset lady? Are you still having problems with her? And that just came out of the blue. So, it's when you answer the question, since Sandra and you call yourself a voodoo queen, right, Jocelyn? Lisa from the job, who was from Louisiana, that day she said her and her husband were going there. He said, oh, I need for you to get me some things because I got to do some things to somebody. Were you talking about me? And people, a little bit before I retired, this same person, Jocelyn, went and bought some luncheon for everybody. And so I did go over there and eat some of what she purchased. But as I was eating, her right arm man at the job, woman that was also hired at the same time I was. Or we started at the same time, because when you get hired for some reason with this county, you don't start right away. It was like, okay, you got the job, but I didn't start till like maybe a week or so after they said you're hired. But anyway, she said, oh no, this is revenge lunch. This is how diabolical and cunning this supervisor is. So we all know what goes on in Louisiana. A lot of spell work, witches and warlocks. But anyway, so I guess she must be cast a spell on that lunch, unbeknownst to me, because I was not into stuff like that. And who knows what she possibly cast on it, because she's a cunning cunt. And one day she had to go get her grill fixed, and another coworker said, oh, well, you could do it like this. You could go to that account and get monies for your tooth to be fixed. Like, this woman somehow must have been in somebody's account, if not mine. And I know a lot of the time when I had Cigna health insurance through that company, I was being overcharged for my visits, for my prescriptions, because I believe that cunning cunt was living vicariously through my life, or somebody was, because I was being doubly charged for things that my insurance should have been giving me first accounting discount that you would get for going within the circuit of their people that they have already made arrangements with. But no, every time I go to the doctor for anything, I'm always double charged. Perhaps if there is someone looking into something, perhaps you need to look into that and see what was going on with that. And then this same supervisor had this pen that had a head on it that she loved to have. She called it her bobblehead. So she thinks she's some type of voodoo witch, priest, or something. She even had the audacity to say, I used to be so fine. I had a Coke bottle shape. Because the person that I knew, she was very well endowed. So, I don't know if she had plastic surgery since I'm not there. But, one day I did go back to the job before I left the state of Florida. And she would not show her face. So perhaps she had plastic surgery with my money. Perhaps you can blow back up if you use any of my money to reconstruct your body or face. But anyway, so many people helped to assist this woman on the job who thought she's my handler. Girl, you are under a delusion. And hopefully everything that you did behind the scenes, if I do have a secret agent that is following me, you, and them who are stalking me, hopefully everything you call yourself doing in the background and laughing and sniggling and giggling about will have you going straight to prison. And whatever lie you told when I would walk out of the office, there was a park, because most bus companies are in the hood. There was a park, and this witch bitch who seemed to know everybody, which you would because she'd been with the company longer than me, and she lived in the hood herself. And she's originally from there, I guess. So she knew a lot of people, especially a person who sit up there and look at mug shots all day and obituaries. So this little Rico sting that they have when they find someone who they think can fit the bill of pretending to be somebody that has already deceased and who has some assets, then, she already got the name picked out. This name you're going to be, because, John Williams, the one that tried to give me HIV, it might not even be his freaking name. Because they think they're so smart and they could, change names randomly as they see fit to make their pretension work, which didn't work, as you can clearly see. It's not ever going to work over here. You may have succeeded in some things, in murdering people. Jocelyn, you're so jealous of people. That's what's your freaking problem. And perhaps when you did have a Coke bottle body, are you mad because you no longer have it? Or what's the problem? Because you cannot be somebody that you're not. okay? You cannot try to steal somebody else's partner that is not supposed to be with you. Somehow, somewhere, it's going to go awry, has it? You know, people, when I was in my room before I left that Diabolical Mr. Glass, that movie, y'all should check it out. That's who he is. Brother, I was sitting there, you know, because I was getting tired of the situation because the brother had turned VILE. So I'm like, okay, I want to get back in the groove of things, and I'm praying, using my cinnamon, calling in a spouse, not trying to harm anyone, calling in a spouse. I didn't put a specific name, but I guess my handler, Jocelyn, you were paying attention to my life, because there was a lot of people in my room that wasn't supposed to be, because there was cameras all over. And so what did y'all see exactly? What did you see? So anyway, when you try to call in something that don't belong to you, it never should have been in your life. Like when you tried to send me a fake infected disease person who never was supposed to be in my life longevity. He was supposed to be there for this very reason, to be taken down in this little stupid group of y'all's too. So hopefully, and I don't care who likes what I'm about to say, because you deserve it. If Jocelyn and John were sleeping together, because that's a part of y'all little secret society, y'all do actual rituals, and you obtain the HIV, then are you happy? Are you happy you were trying to stab me in the back, but yet you the one got the secret sauce that you were trying to give me? Trying to have people walk around the job and say, oh, you got the package, while I'm at this job, and I'm looking at them like, what are you talking about? Because they're cloning my phone. When my ex-husband and I were having an argument on our cell phones, everybody knew about it. And so it was so easy to manipulate him, because he smokes weed and he was acting never mind. He was acting diabolical against me anyway. So if he feels like he had been duped out of a good partner, that part would be a yes. But this partner over here never wants to see you again in that respect. I don't want you as a husband. I don't care how you were duped. First of all, you let somebody else in our relationship. So therefore, if you got fucked, then that's what it is. Period. Now, anyway, I don't want you back. So if you are part of the problem of holding me up, or your diabolical bitch that you might be with, that you may have started a family with, I don't give a shit about her. Your children, I want you to give me my things. I want you to stay out of my life. And if the little twitch that you're with knew about how you stole something from me and she pretended to live as me? Or is that Tasha? I don't know. But anyway, however it goes, if you started a family off of my dime, that's not my problem, nor will I accept it as my problem. If you knew your partner, spouse, lover is doing something shady and then you participated in it, and now you're finna be without or possibly going to prison too, that's your problem. And then, some of these people that I don't know about or that are like very foreign, but I know that they are op, you might be some partner of a senator, judge, lawyer, I don't know. You need to checkmate your partner. Perhaps you need to get a divorce from them and go ahead and take the loot that you can get from they dumb ass and chunk it up as a loss. Don't come after me because your partner did something stupid and now your whole family and household is fucked up. Don't come after me. Because that within itself is fucked up. Oh, she by herself, so let's just red run her. No. Your partner decided to do something criminal, then you should be like the society that says, if you see something, say something. Or be like the mother that told on her daughter who said she was black over the NAACP. Kudos to that mother. She did the right thing, although it probably hurted her to see her daughter living a lie. So that's probably, oh no, that was and is the better choice. Don't come after me because your partner that you might love, but if they're committing a crime, are you going to jump off the cliff with them? Or are you going to try to save yourself and come up and give them up so you can take care of your children? Or perhaps after you save a victim or victims, perhaps that victim will say, I need to help that woman and her children. But no, instead you want to come after the victim and help your diabolical partner bring her to a demise. Is that why somewhere in the scripture it says your children will be motherless and fatherless, and there will be widows? Anyway, don't come after me when you know you are doing wrong. Give me back the things you stole. Check yourself. That's all I'm saying. And as I was saying about Jocelyn, she knew a lot of people. As I'm coming out the job, you have people either play some sinister music trying to direct it at me, or they'll be saying things as I'm walking to my car directed at me. I'm like, anyway, grown people acting like little children. Grown people in suit and ties wearing robes that throw down the gavel that are part of these secret societies that are corrupt, or little groups that have become secret society pimps and simps and whores. Anyway, all I know is somebody knows the truth. And if no, somebody knows the truth, I want my truth. I want my information. Period. I want the Most High to avenge me of you. Period. Because not a letter, and that brings me back to the United States Postal Service. How in the world can a living person be alive and cannot get their own mail? And you mean to tell me that not a judicial person on this earth know about my situation? Because when I go somewhere and I think I'm going to be there for a while, I will put in a change of address. And when I am waiting on something, I expect to get it in the mail. But I can't even get that because somebody's redirected my mail. There's something wrong with people. Something is wrong. Period. So hopefully one day I will get and receive my true justice. And I know a lot of people say there's no justice in our court system. And right now it is looking like that, huh? But I just want to believe it is not 100% corrupt. And the ones who are not corrupt, they are working aimlessly and hard to shut down the ones who are. And hopefully, in this lifetime, I will see it happen. And I will find and have solace. I have some solace, but no. However, if I am not trying to be content with this type of lifestyle, living from a car, because I do not deserve this, nor is it part of my royal DNA. So I do not accept this at all. And I do want my justice. I want my peace. And I want these wrongs to be made right.